So MyPathway is studying drugs that are already FDA approved in the US, but for non-approved indications. And the idea is that these drugs have, shown evidence and safety that they're effective in certain tumor types, but what MyPathway is trying to do is to study these drugs in non-approved tumor types, but which have similar molecular alterations to the cancer types in which they're already approved. Yeah, sure. MyPathway is a multi-basket study, and it initially involved 4 baskets. It now has 6 baskets and 8 drugs, and it's based on the premise that the biology of a tumor and the molecular pathway of a tumor can be targeted therapy. Yeah, so the HER2 basket involves Herceptin and Perjeta. We have a BRAF basket that involves Vemurafenib and Cobimetinib. We have an EGFR basket with Erlotinib, a Hedgehog basket with Vismodegib, a cancer immunotherapy basket with Atezolizumab, and an ALK basket with Alectinib. So we started with 4 baskets, and then because we have an overarching protocol, we can add or subtract baskets. So the 2 baskets that were added were the cancer immunotherapy basket with Atezolizumab and the ALK basket with Alectinib. Yeah, most of our data comes from the HER2 basket. So 2/3 of our enrollment is patients with HER2 alterations. Most of those have HER2 amplifications. And we're seeing very strong signals in our HER2 amplified patients with many tumor types. Particularly, we have quite a large population with HER2 amplified colorectal cancer. And in those patients, if they have a K-ras wild type HER2 colorectal cancer, they have a response rate of 52%. And their duration of response is quite long. These are very heavily pretreated patients, and they have a 10-month duration of response. Yeah, we're also seeing signals in HER2 salivary cancer that are pretty amazing, on the order of about 70% response rate. It's a rare tumor, but we often see HER2 amplification in salivary patients as well. We have signals in HER2 biliary cancer and HER2 bladder cancer. Yes, so K-ras and a lot of other studies that are exploring colorectal cancer do think that the K-ras mutated population is a driver and potentially has a poorer prognosis. So in patients who have K-ras mutated and HER2 amplified colorectal cancer, they don't seem to benefit. And a lot of other ongoing studies of HER2 amplified colorectal cancer are excluding patients who are K-ras mutated. Well, for the Atezolizumab basket, that one just recently was added, and we fortunately have been able to bring in more patients to MyPathway. We're almost at 500 patients now, and we're adding 100 more patients. So the total N will be 600. And we're shunting most of those patients to the Atezolizumab or cancer immunotherapy basket. So we think future data will come from this cancer immunotherapy basket. Yeah, it's interesting, this idea of tumor agnostic. And the FDA is starting to bring forth guidance documents. And we're starting to realize that, in multiple tumor types, our HER2 agents are working. So we've had good results with the dual HER2 blockade, Herceptin Perjeta. And we don't know if this data will be something that the FDA would think of approving at some point, but we think that we have enough evidence to take some of this data to NCCN guidelines, where we might submit it to multiple different committees, like the colorectal committee and the head and neck committee for salivary, and maybe the hepatobiliary committee. So the combinations that we're studying in MyPathway, Herceptin, Perjeta, we think there's a lot of biologic rationale to combining them. Vemurafenib and cobimetinib also has some biologic rationale to combining them. And we're just trying to follow the evidence and the science.